Hello everyone, I'm Sean at Shock Surplus, and today we're going to go over some of the popular Bilstein 5100 options for your light truck or Jeep. Here we have the 5100 ride height adjustable front struts, and then the 5100 shocks. We got the 5160 reservoir shocks, and then here we have the 6112 ride height adjustable shocks. Not every single version is available for every single vehicle. If you got a Jeep, then you don't have struts and you don't have coilovers like this. These reservoir shocks are available for most applications, along with just typical 5100 series are available for most truck applications. The 5100 series and the 5160 series are available on some factory height vehicles, but if you've got like a Ford Super Duty, Dodge Ram, typically the 5100 series is only available for kind of a lifted 2 inches and above ride height. Now, the major differences here between all of these really depends on your application. So if you got a coilover supported truck, then the 6112s here are a 2.5 inch shock body with up to 7 to 9 different ride height adjustments depending on the application. That same equivalent in the 5100 will have less ride height adjustments through these snap ring grooves. Both the 6112 and the 5100 have these individual grooves that control the front ride height of the vehicle. We assemble the 6112s in-house to be a fully contained coilover unit like this. Otherwise, the coil spring comes separate along with the shocks, but does not come with the new top mounts. These have their own circlips, which run, like I said, up to 7, 8, 9 different height settings, depending on your application. And this is a 2.5 inch body versus the 5100, which is a 2 inch body. Massive difference when you're considering road comfort and off-road capability. Both of these are digressively valved shocks. All of these are digressively valved shocks. So improved handling, improved nose dive response, those kind of things come standard with all Bilstein shocks. When you're thinking about upgrading to the 6112, ask yourself, are you off-roading enough to warrant that upgrade? Do you foresee yourself loading the vehicle down with a lot of equipment? These do better if you're putting on larger wheels and tires or larger bumpers, winches, all that extra equipment in the front. The 6112 is going to be better suited for that. These are going to give improved road handling, but also being able to handle more aggressive terrain a lot easier than the 5100 counterpart. Now, depending on your application and your intended use, the 5160 reservoir may be overkill for a lot of you, whereas the 5100 non-reservoir can really get it done most of the time. You can off-road in the 5100 non-reservoir, just no problem at all. These give these are digressively valved as well, so improved road handling, improved off-road handling. I've seen all types of vehicles run these along the same trails that we're running our 2.5 race series shocks against, and they're keeping up just fine. It really depends on how much you want to beat up your truck or your Jeep. If you're considering the 5160s, really ask yourself if you're going to be using the full travel of the shock. What happens in these reservoir shocks is that the gas chamber is moved from the main shock body into the reservoir. So rather than having a gas chamber roughly this size in the main body, now there's a gas chamber roughly this size in the reservoir body. So the internal floating piston gets moved to the reservoir, and all this main body now contains a lot more oil, along with the added oil of the reservoir. So with all that being said, with more oil circulating through the main body, that's lower pressures, lower operating pressures, which contributes directly to shock longevity. If you're running both of these, if you're running two identical vehicles in identical terrain, this shock is going to heat up a lot more, and this shock will fail sooner. say over 100,000 miles, this shock will fail sooner than this one. Mainly because the internal pressures are going to wear and tear on the seals on this shock, whereas these lower pressures, lower heat means better and longer seal life. One of the main things that we always have to warn about is that the Bilstein 5160s have a 90-day warranty, whereas the Bilstein 5100s have a limited lifetime. So Bilstein knows that people that equip their trucks with the 5160s are off-roading a lot, and so they're kind of limiting possibly their liability there, but the 90-day warranty really bites people in the butt, so just be aware of that. The good thing about the 5160s versus the 5100s is that the 5160s are serviceable. You can tell by this clamp, the top cap not being clamped, whereas the 5100 has clamps on this top cap to where you are not able to service it. Let's see, that being said, I think we've covered everything here. Let us know if you have any questions regarding your specific applications. Like I said, all these shocks aren't available for every application, but we are definitely willing to dive into more details with you. Please contact us at support@shocksurplus.com, PM us, DM us, leave a comment. Looking forward to helping you guys out in the future.